Ben's just a copycat, regurgitating lines to Peter. Madam Web created Spider-Man.
You think about being, the four of you all together, these four incredible women growing as superheroes. What do you hope that, especially young women, take away from a movie like Madam Web?
Run away! Run away! Run away!
Madam Web, a film no one asked for, full of super obscure characters, except for Spider-Woman Julia Carpenter, and is comparable to the Golem game.
Suck! Suck! Suck!
This movie's pretty bad. I can't find anybody that likes this movie, so I sent a few people out looking for fans of the film. Let's check in with them.
We ain't found shit!
This film isn't just bad, it's bad on every front. This is a horrible film. Using a few extra lines of dialogue or 10 to 15 seconds of a clip for explanation would stop a headache of trying to figure things out in this movie. Now, even the actresses have kind of come out about this movie. Dakota Johnson is on record saying this is not the script she originally read for. It is very different from what was shot and released. So I think these ladies were bait and switched. Welcome to being a consumer of movies and TV.
It's not like your typical book club.
Lots of baits and switches. Now, the three girls, three young ladies, very attractive ladies, seem to be pretty decent actresses. They look like they're 15 in the movie, so if you're going to go check these women out because they're attractive, it gets kind of
Weird.
You also get the vibe that they weren't very happy during shooting by some of the ways they deliver the lines. Some of them have come out and like kind of blown the movie off or said some sly things to say that they aren't happy with the way it turned out.
You're the smart ass, you little hunky bastard.
I think the ladies did the best they could, and I'm not going to hate on them for it. This is a movie about a psychic, right? She can tell the future or whatever. So when they show her clairvoyance, the first couple of times it's okay that it repeats itself several times so you get the gist of what is happening. However, they use this effect way too many times in this movie. At the end of the movie, you just get flashes. And that's fine for showing that, but you've wasted like 20 minutes of my time by the time we get to the end of the movie showing what's going on with her clairvoyance instead of just giving us flashes. Poor choice for the director. I really think you should have sped things up after the first two times. It could have helped this movie flow a little bit better. It just felt like the movie came to a complete halt every time this happened. When we first meet Ezekiel, he kills Cassie's mom. Well, he wants the spider. And he explains that when he does this, he's doing it because no one helped him. That's it. That's his reasoning for killing Cassie's mom and taking the spider.
He's an ambiguous villain, isn't he?
Yes.
No one helped me when the mafia killed my family and I'm going to get payback or anything like that. There is nothing to explain why he is killing Cassie's mom to take the spider. Then he seduces an NSA agent and explains his vision that there's 3 spider women coming to kill him.
Oh no.
Why? What did you do to them? Why are they after you? He then kills the NSA agent, steals her password, and uses a supercomputer to track these 3 girls. He de-ages them back to 15 years old. Like I said, these actresses very much look like they're 15. But he says that he's spending large amounts of money and he's going to lose everything. Well, what does he have to lose? The only thing we see is a spider. He's spending lots of money and he drives a C5 Corvette. That's not really anything to lose. We could have taken 10 to 15 seconds, showed the bottom of a building and said Globo Corp or something like that, and zoomed to the top floor, went through the window to where he's talking to the woman on the computer. Plain and simple, easy, okay. He's a giant businessman. You could have added a newspaper lane somewhere or advertisement on TV in the background or talking about how Globo Corp has just taken over 15 companies or something like that to really push the issue of what he's going to lose. As far as we know, he's just trying to defend himself. At what point is Ezekiel the big bad? Just because he killed Cassie's mom or killed an NSA agent? He only killed the NSA agent to protect himself. So how is this the big bad guy? Why am I supposed to believe that this is the big bad? I'm not. It's not there. They didn't put it in the script. They didn't think this out at all.
Here, where are you going with this?
The jungle scenes. After Ezekiel kills Cassie's mom, these spider guys come down from the tree. Yes, an entire tribe of Spider-Men. Spider-Man, you're not so special, are you? There's more on that. They take her. She gets bitten by the spider. Cassie's born. Somehow Cassie makes it through the adoption system from Peru back to the United States. None of that's explained either. It just happens. You know, clips, photos, like a montage or something would explain 90% of what's missing in this story. You don't have to give it to us all in dialogue. Now, when Cassie returns, 30 years later, this guy's been standing in the same spot waiting for her. That guy has a boring life. Doctor Strange punches her into the water. I'm not joking. Once she returns from the astral plane or whatever world she's in, which is the only redeeming part of this movie, is you find out that Cassie's mom was in the Amazon trying to find the spider to save her daughter's life because of the healing properties of the spider. The whole time Cassie thought that her mom hated her. That's why she wouldn't stay out of the Amazon. All this stuff. That is the only redeeming quality of this movie, that she finds out that her mom was trying to save her life is why she was doing what she was doing. Fine with that one aspect of the movie. One aspect of the movie. But then we get the lore defecation. Spider-Man, Peru Spider-Man, tells Cassie once she accepts responsibility, then will come the great power. This is a jumbled mess of Ben's line.
With great power comes great responsibility.
This is the entire reason Peter Parker became Spider-Man, was because of the line from Ben. So Madam Web, being friends with Ben, would have surely said something along these lines to Ben, so Ben's just a copycat, regurgitating lines to Peter. Madam Web created Spider-Man.
What the fuck is this bullshit?
There's even a line later where she knows that Ben is going to be taking care of Peter. So she would know that Peter's going to become Spider-Man. This is why they never should have involved Ben and Mary in this movie. This was dumb, completely dumb. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, only exists because of Madam Web. You heard it here first. Well, probably not first. They also cut Peter's name every time it's said in the movie. My understanding was they didn't have licensing rights. They probably did at the beginning. The audio dub of this is very inconsistent. There's so much off-camera dialogue that you can tell that this is a mess of reshoots. I also had inconsistent audio levels in my theater. It may have been just my theater, but I've heard other people complain about it. We have this communication scenes between Ezekiel and Cassie. It is done very badly. There's crazy cuts where he's in front of her, back of her, to the sides. He's in costume, out of costume. The audio's clean. The audio's distorted. It's very confusing and very poorly done. It pulls you out of the scene. There's no way you can be engrossed in this. It's just too fast of a cut to even keep up with it. There's a CPR training scene that is way too long. Now, another question that comes up, Webb is wanted by the police. They have to go hide. But she freely travels to Peru and back, leaving the girls with Ben. Why didn't she just take the girls with her? She can't protect them if they're with Ben. This didn't make any sense. She could have taken the girls to Peru. They all could have became the Spider-Women, and they all could have came back and kicked his ass. That would have been a superhero movie, wouldn't it? This isn't a superhero movie. This is a shitty movie. While Ben has the girls, Mary Parker decides to give birth about 4 weeks early. Now, since when was Mary Parker a Sarah Michelle Gellar ripoff? She's supposed to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, not a Valley girl. I thought this was kind of weird. It just feels like a very weak character, the way they portray Mary in this. Like I said, why is she even in the movie? But Ben, being the super smart guy is, instead of keeping the girls at home where they haven't been found for a week or so, he takes them out in the streets and are instantly found by Ezekiel.
Found you.
This starts the end of the movie that involves Cassie driving an ambulance through a building, and Ezekiel jumps up just to get hit by it. Yes, our villain jumps into the air to get struck by an ambulance flying through it.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Now, at the end of the movie, we end up back in this half-burned-down warehouse that's still full of fireworks that was on fire earlier in the movie, and like 2 weeks have passed. They haven't cleaned it out. It's just sitting there. Makes no sense. They go into there to lead Ezekiel around, setting the building on fire, setting fireworks off, where a firework blows a wall down. I understand this is a superhero movie, but sometimes these writers need to go out and touch grass and understand how the world works. I really feel like some of these Hollywood writers have never left their house. And just, that's the vibe I get. Now, during this, we have quick flashes. We get the clairvoyance at a faster pace where she gets a flash and tells the girls to get down, or she's got a piece of metal where she deflects a firework or a piece of shrapnel or whatever. And she uses this ability to lead Ezekiel under a Pepsi sign. And Pepsi's in this movie a whole lot. Where he ultimately gets destroyed by the Pepsi sign. A giant P lands on him, which wouldn't kill Spider-Man, so why do we believe he's dead? I could see if there was like a piece of metal stuck through him or something like that, I'd believe he's dead. I don't believe he's dead from this. And Cassie falls into the water. Now, remember, she's been deflecting and dodging shots, but while she's in the water, she gets struck in the face by a firework, and now she's blind. Like I said, this stuff really doesn't make sense. They're like, oh, she's got to be blind by the end of the movie. How do we do it? It's really not thought out. It's really, really annoying. It's super annoying to watch this movie. At the end of this movie, Madam Web is in a wheelchair, and she has a pair of sunglasses on. And she says she can see the girls as they're truly meant to be. And we get the same cut from the 30-second fight scene we get from the NSA agent. They just moved one of the girls off to the left and put Madam Web behind them and CG'd the building out. That's it. And the costumes look really, really bad. It almost looks like they defeminized them, but this is the longest look you get at them. And it's amazing how lazy American CGI has gotten. Now, I understand this film had an $80 million budget, but you couldn't get your money shot right.
Here comes the money shot.
I get the feeling that everybody involved in this film like gave up like halfway through it. Like the director, the writers, everybody just gave up on this film.
You know, okay. Gosh darn it, I give up. It's yours, you can have it.
There's no way they could have been given 100%. No way. If they were, you should be removed from Hollywood. There's some ditches that need to be dug over there. Get to work. But that's how I feel about these people. Now, we do know they did reshoots to move this movie from the 90s to 2003. And they're like, yeah, we had to remove all the references. Well, you didn't remove all the references. I caught a couple of them while watching it because they were really awkward to me, knowing that this was 2003. In Cassie's apartment, she has an 80s style modular cassette player stereo popular in the 90s, not in 2003. The guy on the train is playing a PSP, which didn't come out until 2005. I know I got one in 2005. And also the Britney Spears song Toxic being played on the radio. That song didn't come out until 2004, January 2004. So it shows the writers can't even Google search properly, or they didn't care about timelines. They just wanted that song in. And the director said that song was in there originally, so it was going to be in the 90s and they were going to have Toxic. So overall, I give this movie a solid 1 for defecating on the legacy of Spider-Man. Poor writing, poor directing, poor CGI. There's no reason for our villain to be a villain. There's no reason for our heroes to be heroes. It could even be claimed that this is swapped the other way around. This is a bad guy winning a movie. That's what I got. I'm looking to be bad. Like, sub, share, do all that crazy shit you guys do. You have a good one.